Right. We get it. We get it. The Taryn Steele versus La'el Collins. Jerry, all you had to say was, hey, I like what Taryn Steele was able to do this year. However, La'el Collins is the starting right tackle. We're going to head into Washington week with the same lineup that we had last week. And any element of surprise from there, boom, you can put it on them. I just believe that somewhere there's an advocate for Taryn Steele, and it could be one of the coaching staff. It could be Jerry Jones himself. He played offensive lineman in college, so if anything that Jerry Jones know, it will be offensive line. Now, Connor McGovern versus Connor Williams, that's been a conversational piece. I think that a third of us never really banged on the table for Connor McGovern to play left guard, by the way. Dynamic guy. We love what he was able to exhibit and exude as it relates to fullback. And I don't think that nobody here can discount what Connor McGovern did at fullback. I think a third of you guys love Connor McGovern at fullback. Can you post down below and say, hey, I love what Connor McGovern did at fullback. Now, Connor Williams, hear me out. I'm not sullying nor denigrating or casting aspersions on Connor Williams. 13 penalties. A lot of penalties. So far, he's second place in the National Football League, and that's after missing all of these games, right? I digress. But Connor Williams, he was on pace to having his best year ever, right? He proved in every category. It's just those penalties. One can argue. One can flat out argue, Cowboy Nation, that most of those penalties came because he's a Cowboys, right? He played for the Cowboys, and everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, know how the aficionados work with that. But neither here nor there. Since Connor McGovern been in at that spot, there been no flags, right? But to the level of what this offense were able to exhibit and exude, it's just been abysmal, you know? But one can argue this, that you knew that when you was making this change and this adjustments, that it will be some growing pains, right? You just can't change some things up and say, okay, it's gonna be better. I can't spit this out any other way. But the Cowboys need to make sure that they establish that continuity, establish that rapport. The thing is, Cowboy Nation, the advocate that really want Terence Steele to be out there on the field, because Jerry Jones just don't spit these things out and it don't happen. He's the billionaire. He's the owner. Somebody is saying that, yeah, I like what Terence Steele was able to exhibit and exude while he was on the field, because what I developed, what I poured upon him, he improved, and I can't put that back on the shelf. And anybody know that when you are the coach, and you see something that you crafted and you molded with your hands, basically, you don't want to see it go to waste. The opportunity came and it was available. Now, I get it. Terence Steele, the swing tackle, he's supposed to be able to play the right side and the left side. But it's hard, baby, to switch from one to the other. You know, it's hard to do that switch. And he didn't look like he's supposed to look, especially in that Denver's game, right? Playing that left tackle. And then the next game, of course, he bounced back or what have you against the Atlanta Falcons. And then they said, oh, let's put him back at right with the musical chair situation. And, of course, we did have some issues as it relates to this right here, Cowboy Nation. Some injuries to come about with our wide receivers. Some unforeseeable things to happen with Amari Cooper. I get it, Cowboy Nation. But the name of the game, be consistent. Establish that level of continuity. Now, La'el Collins, for what it's worth, he's one of the better maulers in this game as it relates to run blocking. I think he's top in the NFL as it relates to grades. And you don't have to fall in love with Pro Football Focus. Just turn on the tape. And you see when that big boy is in front of you, and he will gobble up. He will take you down. That is what he brings to the table, Cowboy Nation. So what I'm trying to tell to all of you guys, whether it's Connor Williams is on the bench, or whether it's Connor McGovern that's in the lineup, whether it's Terence Steele that's on the bench, or if it's La'el Collins in the lineup, the Cowboys, hear me out, Cowboy Nation, must establish continuity, rapport, because the offensive line, that is the only unit that all of these guys, all 5 of those boys, must be on the same page. Not should, must be on the same page. If not, it don't mean a hill of beans of who is out there. Now, hear me out. Don't crucify me, Cowboy Nation. And please don't shank me with the butter knife and say, well, Law, now you're backpedaling. You just said, hey, keep it the same. Don't touch it, right? That's what I said last week, and that's what I said earlier this week. Don't touch it. But Jerry Jones done already spilled all of the tea. I'm quite sure that Taryn Steele is not going back to the left side of the field, right? And I'm quite sure you can't have 2 right tackles in this game, right? You can't have 2 of them playing. I don't know what that lineup will be, unless you say, hey, Zach Martin, we love you, dog. We kick you in as the center, and we kick Collins in as right. It'll just mess up everything, Cowboy Nation. Messes up everything. So what I believe, hear me out, what I believe that the Cowboys will do is that musical chair crap again, rotating right tackles, or the definitive word, or they're going to actually kick Taryn Steele at right tackle. Kick him at right tackle. Pull Connor McGovern out of the lineup and say, hey, just like I said earlier, he was one of the better fullbacks on this team and probably in the league. You know, when he'll play fullback and dry spurts or what have you. Pull him out. Insert Collins. They're going to go with this lineup. Tyron Smith, Collins at left guard, because he did have some dual reps in both spots, at guard and at right tackle, right? Keep Tyler Biadasz at center. Zach Martin at right guard, and Terence Steele. Oh yeah, at right tackle. But if they do that, they have to look each other in the eyes and say, hey, if we wet the bed against the Washington team, it's on us. And also, they have to look at it and say, we got 5 games. Oh, the front 5, you got to keep it alive. And on top of that, I believe that Dak Prescott or the backup quarterback, all of the quarterbacks, and including the running backs, need to speak up and say, hey, this is the unit I feel comfortable with. They need to speak up at this point, because you got 5 more games, baby. They need to say something and say, okay, we need to play. And I know that this team is not the team that point like that. We're 8-4, baby, not like we're 4-8. And if you listen to certain pundits, you would think that we are 4-8. But we are 8-4, Cowboy Nation. I just believe that this team need to establish that continuity, regardless of the situation or the scenario. Establish the continuity. I say don't touch it from last game. Keep it the same. But I get it. C-19 hit Terence Steele, and they might have did something different last game. I don't know. But if he's healthy, and if they want to put him inside the lineup, I just can't see him lining up as a fullback or a tight end. It could be an element of surprise, because Jerry Jones did say both of those boys will get a chance to play. But it better not be, Jerry, please. Don't do the rotational situation of the offensive line. I know that we create new things here and there, but please, let's not play around with your $160 million quarterback, right? And let's not play around with your $90 million running back. Keep everything the same, establish that continuity, and rapport with the offensive line, the only unit that everybody got to be on the same page. Not somebody, but everybody got to be on the same page, baby. So, Cowboy Nation, please, for the life of me, keep it the same. But if you do, I'm not saying that I'm backpedaling like Deion Sanders or tap dancing like the late, great Gregory Hines. But what I'm saying, if you do go with that, Terence Steele at right tackle, and Collins inserted in as that left guard, then that'll be just the situation. Or hear me out, Cowboy Nation. If you go ahead, in which I know egos are really big, edging God out. You know, when you have those big egos, you just edge everything out. And you say, you know what? we wet the bed with moving or inserting Connor McGovern in. Although Connor McGovern, he only allowed 1 sack, gave up some pressures inside, but he didn't cause anybody a big penalty. If they say, okay, Connor McGovern, we like what you are able to exhibit and exude, but we're going to kick you back at fullback. I think Connor Williams learned his lesson. We're going to insert him back. Insert him back as the left guard and roll out everything the same, right? Then that will be this lineup: Taryn Smith, Connor Williams, Tyler Biotish, Zach Martin, of course, and then, of course, Lyle Collins. Is that the premium offensive line that you guys want? Post down below. Or do you want this offensive line to look like last week? Last week, offensive line, Dak Prescott still wasn't assured of himself. He didn't feel comfortable, so he rolled and went through his reads and said, you know what, I'm getting off of this read. I'm going to run out the side of the pocket and make things happen my way, right? That's what he did last week. Can he stand tall in the pocket and feel comfortable with the offensive line change? Y'all post me your thoughts. Or do you like this offensive line right here? Taryn Steele at right tackle. Zach Martin at right guard. Tyler Biotish at center. Lyle Collins at left guard. And Tyron Smith at left tackle. Do you want that? Post me your thoughts. Post me your lineup that you really want, that you feel to give this team the best opportunity for Ezekiel and Tony Pollard to shine, as well as Rain Dakota Prescott. Let me know, Cowboy Nation. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's go. Where my coffee at? Where my coffee at, baby? Let's go.